I appreciate your discipline and that you are all up and ready to meditate. So you see, yesterday I was talking, remain relaxed. You will be able to remain relaxed when you don't have anything to bother. So that's what you have to write. It's like wearing a mask nowadays, anyway you go, and you have nothing to talk. That silence is so beautiful. I can remain like this for a long time, forever. But I would have loved to observe silence for a long time, 40 years, 30 years that I'm going to be alive. But I have to talk. Then Swamiji used to tell, it's useless to observe total silence. You will be unnecessarily troubling others. Instead, talk a little bit that is necessary. You don't have to be a chatterbox or talkative. Talk a little bit that you can convey every word, every sentence that you utter. It should be a very good, meaningful, sensible message, an awareness that you want to create, that it is. So the tips here, in the same way that we wear the mask, during meditation, you have to wear a mask for your mind. That means you just watch, don't bother. Whatever you would have acquired since time immemorial, that will all be thrown out now, a purifying process. When it's happening, if thoughts and visions appear, you just watch. Don't bother about that thought. First thing, don't recognize that thought or vision, whether it is good or bad. It's at that time not your job, because you don't have anything to do. So if you keep quiet, it will simply evaporate, disappear, and give you the silence. That silence of the mind is what you have to achieve. Great, wonderful. In a short while, we will start taking your questions. When you want to ask a question, do not hesitate what others will think about you. You don't have to give backgrounds, this, that, and then tell this is the question. So just ask the question. Even if you had asked that question previously several times or many times, no problem. Because the more you will hear to the answers, your mind will absorb the more inner meanings, the right meaning, the final truth. Remember, I had told Swamiji telling me the story of Hanuman and Sri Rama. So many times he told, every time he came also, several times he used to tell. Today he would have told the story, and the next day, again he would tell the story in the night in the balcony here behind. Sometimes I used to wonder in the middle, why Swamiji is telling again and again? Has he forgotten that he has told me this story already? Then Swamiji told, hey, you have been listening to this story so many times. One day he suddenly asked on his own, what did you understand? Swamiji, it's Sri Hanuman's devotion to Sri Rama was so great. That is not the inner meaning, idiot. You know what happened in the end? After all the arguments, Sri Rama declared, now if you don't hand over that king, I will kill you first, and then I will kill that king also. Then he took the bows and arrows. At that time, Hanuman did not think about anything. He did not utter anything. He didn't even talk about surrender. He didn't even talk about his God or Rama, Guru, anything. Just became quiet and closed his eyes with folded hands. That was when he had totally, in truth, surrendered. His mind has become quiet. No more argument. He didn't recognize about himself or his Guru. Both had disappeared. There was only oneness was there. He had become quiet. So Rama had the bows and arrows. So when his mind became totally quiet, the pure grace of the Master descended on Hanuman. So the arrows could not harm him. It all became flower garlands. That is the final truth. You have to surrender, idiot. Swamiji told me. I understood. We became quiet. We surrendered. Mentally, we became quiet. There was nothing else to ask. Till then, he went on telling this story so many times. When he saw that I have understood, I became really quiet and the dualities came to an end. He stopped his story and physically he stopped coming to Dehradun also after that. Pure grace had descended. He made me to sit for tapas. That was his grace, the Guru's grace. That's how you will obtain a Guru's grace, when you are able to totally surrender. Nothing else should be there. Wonderful. We will start taking questions.
Hi, Guruji. I realized that this comes from my meditation yesterday, where I got stuck in meditation for 2 hours, and only because I didn't hear anyone say, open your eyes. So after my head was bursting and I could feel the pain throughout my head, I said, I better open my eyes, and nobody was there because you had stopped meditation. And through the meditation, well, I got into this pure white light, but I kept the inner voice, I don't know if it was mine or whatever, said, feel, feel, feel. You got to stop the mind. But, and then I realized today that, this sounds stupid, but a dog doesn't know it's wagging its tail. It only feels it. So I'm in conflict now. I'm almost afraid to go back there because I might never come out and nobody will be there in the physical. So I enjoy the inner, but I don't really I don't know when to come out of meditation.
You see, in any case, you don't have to worry. If it's a real meditation, if your mind has become totally quiet, that is the pure grace. You don't bother about coming out at all because you are there. There is neither in nor out, nothing is happening. But if the destiny is still there that you have to come out, you will come out. So you don't have to worry about it. Practice meditation, meditate, and just meditate. The divine will take care of the things that is necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Namaste, Babaji. I was thinking of the word bhavatita in that shloka that you recite at the end. And is that related to the story of the Rama and Hanuman?
In a way, that's
Yeah.
when
Can you explain, elaborate on that?
Yeah, a Sadguru would have achieved that status by doing tapas and achieving self-realization. They have gone bhavatita, means there is neither seer nor a seen, neither me nor you. There gurur naiva shishya, as Adi Shankara talks in Nachavyama Bhumi, na mata cha janma pita naiva mata cha janma gurur naiva shishya. Neither guru is there nor shishya is there. So that is the bhavatita in every way. You have transcended everything.
I was wondering if it was beyond, if it is beyond raga dvesha. Would you say bhavatita also means beyond raga dvesha?
It is also raga dvesh.
So
beyond everything means in that raga dvesh also comes everything.
All dualities.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Does it matter if my desire for liberation is motivated by fear of suffering, or does it need to be motivated by love for God?
Not necessary in any way if it is motivated even by suffering. So many times for self-realized people, there are many such stories that a suffering has motivated them to go for self-realization. Means when you realize that you are in bondage, when you realize why this suffering, why there is no peace, why there is no happiness, That's when you will strive for that. You will go for that. You will feel motivated. I need peace now under any circumstance. So you go for that. That's it.
Is grace and faith similar to each other?
They go together. Any one of them is there, the other comes. You do your job, the divine guru will do his job. Means you have to cultivate faith, you maintain your faith, don't lose that one, you lose anything else. Remember Swamiji is saying, and the divine will do his job.
Thank you, Babaji.
Hi, Babaji. Nice to see you. I have a question on, the U.S. elections have been contentious regarding the results, and I find myself being judgmental and angry against certain politicians. How can I forgive deeply?
Just by you bothering, you are losing your peace and your mind is becoming a casualty. You may not be able to change the world like that. So when you have a chance to exercise your oath, so you just do that one and leave it to the divine. So, and if you have friends, whenever you come across friends, you try to talk and create an awareness about whatever you believe. So you try, but don't lose your own peace. That is important. So if you think like this, just me worrying, I cannot change anything. Let me find my peace. Okay, this is the world. This is the destiny. That is when the destiny is start, so that you don't lose your peace. You have to think, this was destined to happen like this. So let me have my peace. But you can continue working for that. Like when you have friends, you can talk what you believe. Your opinion you can always convey. There is no harm in it. And when you can exercise the oath, you exercise that oath. So that way you won't lose your peace, and you will be working towards the right direction also.
Thank you. My second question is, the pandemic is getting pretty bad now, and I see so many patients. I'm exposed to COVID, and I think I'm overemphasizing the safety of my own body, and I don't want to give it that much power. I don't want to be so fearful that I'm going to get sick. How can I do everything right in the physical, but how can I let go of worrying about the body during this crazy pandemic?
Finally, one day the body is going to go. That is the fundamental truth we all have to realize, understand, be aware of. So if it has to go, it will go. Till then, we have to try to keep it. As long as the body is available for us, it is like a bonus. You have a chance to meditate, you have a chance to quieten your mind, you have a chance to realize your real self. So don't let go that chance, keep doing, and don't bother, one day the body will go. You do your life as if you are in a deep sleep, and one day the body goes and you won't know at all. That's very beautiful. Only the worry about body going is the problem.
Right. Thank you so much. That's so helpful. Thank you, Babaji.
You're welcome.
It's wonderful to see you. I had a question about it's sort of a basic kind of a thing. I feel like I understand that in meditation, you're supposed to achieve ecstasy or have extreme joy. And I find that I'm maybe more caught up in the process and I don't feel enough joy. How do you get to the joy part or ecstasy part?
You see, that is why you need to understand the instructions that the master give. Means just watch in between eyebrows, means at that time you just watch and don't bother about ecstasy, joy or happiness or what it is. Because if you keep imagining about ecstasy, joy, you might end up imagining about that joy in a particular way, and if you don't find it, you might be confused, disappointed. Just watch, you will get into that. Peace is the recommended goal. Peace helps you to remain composed, at peace. Ecstasy may make you to jump back to the world and make such dances through the body which is not necessary. Just remain composed, at peace. For that you have to watch. That is the technique. If you just watch in between eyebrows, and you will get that joy.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciated your initial comment about reminder about it's just about surrender. That was a very important point and almost was an echo of what I wanted to ask today. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So good to see you, Babaji. Thank you again for being here. You spoke about Hanuman and being in danger, and that what he needed to surrender would solve all of his problems. And you talked about all these arrows were coming at him, and when he finally surrendered, they became the flower garlands. So I have lots of negative messages in my mind from I'm not sure where. I think many of us do, self-doubt and inner talk, where we say we're a bad person or something like that. I think it's just part of our conditioning. So through surrender, these arrows eventually become flower garlands. Could you talk a little bit about that process where it goes from being an arrow to becoming a flower garland? Thank you.
One best example Swamiji, my guru, spoke often was, you just be like a soldier. Because the soldier, when he goes to battlefield, he is never confused. He never doubts himself. Because he knows either he will do it or he will die. Both are equally acceptable to him. So that's when he surrenders to the result. He doesn't bother what it is going to be. When we are unable to surrender and accept the result, then we start doubting ourselves. What if it happens? What if it doesn't happen? What if I fail to do it? What if I do it? Nothing. You just sit down for meditation. Either you will achieve or you will go on trying and you will die one day. That's what will happen. Next life, you can again try again. That's why this assurance has been given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also. You keep trying to achieve the self-realization, that truth. Never look back, never give up, never doubt yourself. You simply go on doing. Don't stop and start thinking, can I do, or will I be able to do, or will I not be able to do? Don't bother. Keep going. Keep going. If for any reason death happens, so then in the next life, from a very early stage of your life, at childhood itself, you will have that inclination. You will get such parents, such circumstances. Everything is guaranteed. Nothing will go waste. Always think positively like this. Whatever you meditate is like putting the things into a fixed deposit. It will not go waste. It will yield best interest and dividends eventually. You just go on practicing meditation. There should not be any time for you to doubt about yourself. That is the surrender. Like, I never had time to fight or go on criticizing, getting into such fight for long time, even if I had to defend some larger cause, because I always kept myself busy, my mind busy into spiritual exercises, into remembering my guru. I thought, it is worthwhile. Why should I bother about this thing? Why should I bother about myself? I should think about my guru. I must not bother about myself, whether I am an idiot, whether I can do it or whether I cannot do it. Let me keep trying. Somewhere, let us see. If it doesn't happen, if we die, we will try again, we will come back again. So that was how my guru also trained me. Sometimes he used to tell, they were years ago, 45 years ago when I came to ashram. So somebody had killed a devotee of Swamiji, and they were threatening us also to give up the ashram and go away. So Swamiji told, hey, if somebody kills you, where will you go? You will be reborn and you will come back to me. He spoke that simple and removed any doubt from my mind like that. If you die, you will be born and you will come back to me. You cannot go away from me. Don't worry. That's it. So like that you also think, understand, have that self-confidence, keep on going, doing. You meditate to such an extent, keep yourself so busy that you cannot doubt yourself. No time to doubt about yourself. Keep yourself busy.
Thank you, Baba. Very good. Thank you so much.
Promise, Babaji. Baba, I've heard you mention in the past that this world is created because of God, but not according to his wishes. And it's hard for me to really understand it. When I look around at the world, there's just like so much suffering going on. A lot of really good people, loving people have a lot of things happen, just a lot of suffering. And I find it hard to understand really how it was created. And I wondered if you might talk about that a bit.
You see, there is sun. Sun's light, sun's energy, everything is there. If some object suddenly goes so closer to sun, they will burn. But we cannot hold sun as responsible. Whichever object comes in front of sun, they get the light. But they need to maintain a distance. So that is the responsibility to look after our own minds. If all human beings had behaved in a responsible way, in a matured way and looked after their mind, lot of calamities could have been stopped. I have always told, a natural calamity, it happens. If it is beyond our capacity, we have to simply accept, like a tsunami, like an earthquake, if the earth comes to an end tomorrow, because its nature itself is impermanent, like our own body. If it dies one day, whom are we going to blame? We cannot blame anybody. It is the natural process. The body is not me. We have to realize ourselves. Like that is how the divine exists as all pervaded in itself. And divine has no mind. He has pure consciousness, supreme consciousness. Only an enormous amount of consciousness came out of the divinity and created just by thinking. And then, so they were recognized as trinities like Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Because even after creating, they knew about themselves. They remained self-realized. They did not lose their knowledge or awareness of the self. But after that, next, angels came. Angels became a little bit egoistic. Oh, I am the powerful. Oh, I have this status. That means they lost that self-awareness and started thinking in an egoistic way, recognized themselves as the body. Like that life after life, that consciousness lost its ability to remain in the awareness of the self. So as it went on losing, it started suffering with the raga dvesha that is talk. It was scary, scareful. Somebody should not rob me of my status, my seat of power. So all these things start coming. So life after life, it became diluted and lost its power to remain in the awareness of divinity, self-realization. So sufferings all came. Along with the suffering, most dangerously, selfishness and narrow-mindedness also came. So everybody became so selfish. We want to bother about my body only. I must be all right. I should not get into any problematic thing. Let the world suffer if anything happens. So like that, everybody lost the power to remain in peace, become more matured or responsible to each other, love each other, started doubting each other, mistrust grew, everybody started killing each other. So this is what has happened. So we cannot hold divine as responsible. We all are responsible collectively. We must meditate, become more matured, more responsible in the world, and we do not unnecessarily harm. We have a right to defend. We must not go offensive. We should not try to take others' property. We should not try to take the trust's property, ashram's property. If tomorrow trustees or somebody ask me to get out of the ashram, I must simply get out. That's it. I should not try to take away this property, because this property belongs to the trust which works for public utility. This ashram is meant for public utility. That's why Swamiji established. This is not to be taken for my personal comforts. So such a responsibility must come in every human being. Then the world could be very different, much better. So even now, if you read the news, often it seems public people are irresponsible. They don't want to follow all rules of wearing a mask and maintaining social distance when a calamity has come, this pandemic has come. It is the responsibility of every human being to come out of the home only when it is necessary. Unnecessarily, we should not go and gossip. So now we saw what has happened. The government has given free hand to public. You do whatever you want, but take care of yourself. But public don't want to take care. They are irresponsible. They have everything at home, but they must come to a coffee restaurant nearby and everybody sit there together. They have to gossip. So thus they will spread to themselves and to others also. They become disastrous to themselves. They become dangerous to others also. Like that, often we human beings keep behaving irresponsibly. If you look into every war that has been fought, that was fought before, and every calamity that has been, we have failed to contain. So often more to say about irresponsibility of we human beings, more than blaming God as one entity. God is in us also. That same God is telling, be careful, don't go out, wear a mask. So we have to listen to that God which tells. Remember Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's story. So when God is everywhere, the Guru said, oh, if God is everywhere, God should not be harming me, he thought. The student, he was sitting on the river banks, an elephant with a rider came. The rider was telling, give way, come on, come on. He said, if elephant is God, it should not harm me, but it threw him out. He came with bruises and fractured bones, everything, to the Guru. Look, you said God is everywhere, but what has done the God? He said, Master said, idiot, you were looking for God only in the elephant. You forgot about the elephant rider who was warning you. So God is warning us to be careful in this world. Don't be careless, don't be irresponsible. So we have to take responsibility first.
Thank you, Babaji.
Hi, Babaji. Thank you for taking my question.
Wonderful.
I'd like your guidance on something very simple. What to do in everyday life, but particularly in meditation when the body is in pain, a pain that science cannot point out where it comes from, but it's constant and is very high or medium high. What to do?
When there is a pain, we must try to overcome. But if there must be some reason why the pain is there, at least human beings, any medical expert should be able to tell if that pain cannot be attended, it cannot be overcome at all, then you don't bother about the pain. Means the final recourse, when nothing can be done, just face it. Simple. In any case, do not bother in the mind. If the pain cannot be overcome, let the pain be as long as it is. When death happens, let death happen. So you remain like that one. So that is how, remember, in our childhood in the primary school, our teacher used to tell us, never be afraid or worried or confused in your life. Think, after all, my head is going to be cut, that's all. More than that, nobody can trouble you. This pain can cause a death to the body. More than that, that pain cannot cause anything to you. If you maintain that attitude, you will be a valiant soldier and you keep going. Try for everything that you want to achieve in this world. Try to achieve self-realization. Don't bother about the pain if it cannot be overcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Baba, we have a question from Ellen. She says, "Hi, Baba. Can you talk about the relationship between physical pain and emotional pain? My brother lost the battle with COVID in May, and when I have physical pain, such as a toothache or muscle pain, images of my brother are conjured up. I've been experiencing surges of intermingled anger, grief, and anxiety.
I understand your pain when you talk about emotional pain. It is natural when you lose a dear one to a calamity, to an illness, to any such thing. But more than that, you need to think with more responsibility, maturity, simply by getting into an anger in your mind, simply by worrying emotionally, simply you getting into a sadness, you are making your own mind to become a casualty by which you cannot help your brother whose body is already gone. So you must understand this is the truth. So instead of that, if you can use all your mental energy to pray to the divinity, to be with that soul of your brother who is departed from the physical body, to help that soul in its onward journey towards total supreme peace, that is divinity. Pray constantly. Like that, when you pray, you will also get peace. Peace will descend on you. A grace of the divinity will come to you. So thus you will be able to help the soul of your brother also. Think that if you are going to suffer mentally because your brother lost the body like that, your brother's soul will become unhappy. If you can have peace in your mind, understand this truth. Just by worrying, you cannot help anybody. You cannot bring the physical body into life again. That is the natural truth. Though for a while, we all understand the pain when we lose a dear one. I can understand. But we must understand the truth also finally and try to practice meditation. Pray for the soul of departed soul of your brother. So that will help your brother's soul definitely. God will help on the onward journey of that soul. We are all with you in this hour of pain when you feel that one. And please know that we do understand your suffering, mental suffering, but this is the truth we need to understand. Pray and meditate. That is my advice. May you be blessed by the divinity and the pure grace of the divine Guru.
Good morning, Baba.
Good morning.
So wonderful to be here with you, have this darshan. My question is about practicing chanting. Of course, my first and foremost meditation practice I do every morning, and you are my guru. I am devoted. I have an attraction to listen to chants, sacred chants, and to chant myself. And I am very drawn to the Gayatri mantra. And I am listening to very different versions of it on YouTube, online. Of course, you recorded it with devotees some years ago, and I listened to that quite a bit. And then there are also YouTube videos that explain the significance and the power of Gayatri mantra. And I'm very drawn to it. And when I listen to it, I feel peaceful and humble. And I'm starting to learn to recite it myself. I saw one video, an instructional video on YouTube where the gentleman was saying, you know, you must really be careful and learn how to say this correctly from a proper teacher, master. And if you don't, if you mispronounce and such, you can do harm. And this has caused a concern in my mind. I don't have the ability to practice with you directly. We have these limited times to be with you on the Zoom, but I feel that there are some very good teachers with very good lineage on the YouTube, and I can tell that there's they have masters that are self-realized individuals, and acknowledged schools of meditation, and Satya Sai Baba, Ravi Shankar, many things. And do you have any guidance or advice for me about me personally on my own meditating and chanting the Gayatri mantra, and how careful I need to be, because I can't pronounce it like you would pronounce it, or like somebody who was raised and studied Sanskrit?
So, first thing, there is no harm in getting attracted to Gayatri Mantra, any chant. It won't be disturbing in your meditation. Like whenever you want to chant, you learn and you chant and you listen to the chants. And then while meditating, try to remain in silence. Because the very basic meaning of Gayatri, which I have told earlier also, is a simple way is for self-realization. Means first, the composer Vishwamitra has said that to say it is all pervaded, means Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, means on this earth, Bhuloka, if you stand on the earth, all over the earth it is spread, and Bhuvarloka, above this world, in all the worlds it is spread. Swaloka, below this earth, in all the worlds it is spread. And Bhargo Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tattva is the original word they used for divinity in Rigvedic era. First when they realized, they thought it was such an awesome thing, such a wonderful, amazing, you could call it in any name, in any way, you can recognize that would appear in the same way. So that's why they simply said that. Tattva means meaning that. That is all. Otherwise, you can go on imagining any number of things, any number of meanings. So that tattva, to say, is not an ordinary inert object. It is as powerful as the sun. Savitur Varenyam. Savita means sun god. Varenyam is equivalent. So it is as powerful as sun. Means like that. To give an example, that was the nearest object. And then Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. If we adopt the remembrance of that divinity in our mind, it can wash away all our unhappiness and sins once far away. That is why it is to be recognized divine in nature. So why the divinity was recognized as divinity is for this reason. Here, happiness you will understand. Washing away sins means not the sin that we have adopted in this world, because human beings are always very selfish. We set one set of justice to us, another to other. But here, in spiritual truth, the more that consciously you have come out of your real self, you have committed a sin, means a grave mistake, which is likely to have put you into a ugly situation. That is why it is to be considered a grave mistake or a sin. So that will be washed away. You will become one with your real self. And then to achieve that, we have to put efforts. That is also recognized. No spoon feeding has been expected from divine. For that simply you need inspiration. Dhiyo yona prachodhyat. O divine, inspire my wisdom so that I can achieve. So this is what is thing. Third thing, you don't have to worry if there is a little bit of wrong in pronunciation. God will never get annoyed. God is like our own mother and father. What is needed in your mind, what you imagine about that mantra is important. If you imagine that mantra as divinity in your mind, even if you pronounce a little bit wrong, it's no problem. God will take care. He will forgive you. You just go. So try to listen. So some other day, if you want, I can give you some time. You can call on my WhatsApp, anything. I will chant so that you can record and then listen to that one and try to chant. Or if there is somebody near you, you can learn from anybody. No harm in it. And you can try to chant and practice. You have my blessings.
Thank you so much, Baba. Namaste.
Babaji, some people may not know the Gayatri mantra. Could we chant it just a few times right now? Could you chant it a few times right now?
Yeah, I can do that. I will chant now few times. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. I have chanted this in 3 speeds. That was how we were taught. Slow motion, medium and fast. In all the speeds, you maintain the composure of your mind. Just like whether you are driving at 40 miles per hour or 100 miles per hour, you cannot afford to lose your focus on the driving on the road. You have to remain composed, not get confused. So whether you drive at 100 miles speed also in a car. So in the same way, so you practice like this one, so that at all times your focus is on the sound effect of the mantra. That is important when you chant a mantra. More than you want to know the meaning or a little bit pronunciation is all no problem for God. As God demands only that you focus, you apply your mind. God wants your mind. That is only demand that God has. You come back to me, my child. That is all. So you all can practice this in this way. I hope you will be benefited. Before meditation, you want to practice, you practice a little bit like this, and then try to do a silent meditation. This is very much connected to self-realization. Directly you pray to the divine. May you all be blessed.
Babaji, question. I know the whole purpose of life is self-realization, and yet I find that there are things that I'm interested in doing in the world or paying attention to in the world, and I feel really foolish about doing really anything other than meditation, mantra, and service. Perhaps any guidance or words on that? It just seems anything outside of those 3 things seems pointless if the goal is self-realization. Like, why bother with anything else?
You see, either you should be able to go for a long tapas, so many hours, like at least more than 10 hours in a stretch, and then you need to have somebody to look after your physical body also, so that at least once in a 24 hour you should come out of that meditation, have little bit food that is necessary, do some exercise to look after the physical body, then it is all right. Till then, if there is any need that for that reason you have to be a bit active, like earning a livelihood, any such thing is necessary, so without getting attached to the results or the actions, you can be there and gradually go on practicing meditation. automatically it will come. One day you are able to do more and more and more. You go on increasing meditation. So whatever you do, even if you have to be little bit active in the world also, if you simply accept the results of your actions, that will also serve like a meditation for self-realization. Means the purpose of meditation is to silence your mind. In this world also, if you accept the results as it comes, your mind will become silent, accept, quiet. Acceptance is important. So that will serve like a meditation. So go like this. Through every way you can achieve, finally self-realization will be possible. You have my blessings.
So nice to see you. I have a question about meditation. When I was studying Ayurveda, Ayurveda says it is important to have a warm belly and a cool head or cool mind. And I noticed that when I'm meditating, and sometimes in the last couple of months, even, like all day long, my head is really getting very hot. This part. And I know that that's just the opposite of what it should be. So I'm wondering, is that something with...
Try to understand whether you are in a rush or you get agitated when you try to meditate. So these things can give a hot head always. So you need to remain relaxed and in a gentle way try to focus in between eyebrows. So these are the points. So have patience. So there is no rush type of attitude. So then it will become cool down and you will feel relaxed. And if necessary, you can get out for 2 minutes, wash your face, then come back and sit again, relax, take a long inhale and exhale. So the restlessness comes down, then you will feel better and all right.
Okay. So it's about restlessness. Okay, that makes sense.
Hello, Baba.
Hi, Clifford.
So if we understand that the world's population is about 7 billion people, and just for the sake of discussion, if we say in any generation, maybe this generation, if we give 700 people have become self-realized, that may be more or maybe less, but if we just use 700 self-realized people, that leaves 1 in 70 million people have become self-realized. The battle for achieving self-awareness seems to be a very difficult one. So how can it be that there's 7 billion and maybe only 70, maybe 700, maybe 7,000, but the odds are very much against, if we look at it statistically, if the odds are very much against, and this becomes concerning to people, I would imagine.
You see, always more than the quantity, it is the quality which matters. Like a master might have 100 students. If amongst the 100, 99 are going to be simply foolish and don't take the master's teaching seriously, don't pay attention when the master teaches, and just come for sake of passing the time or for something else, then they don't learn. This is what happens in this world. Like you see, if a self-realized master comes sometime, to see him out of curiosity, people may come in millions, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million people might come. But not even one wants to meditate properly. Even Swamiji used to say, you see, if you raise your hand, I will meditate for you, I will give you self-realization, you don't bother, 50,000 people will come. But you tell, you have to meditate for 1 hour. Slowly, one by one, slip away. They will all run away, they won't come. If you seriously all the time insist that all of you have to sit and meditate 1 hour, they will all run away. Very few will be left. That is what happens. See, now we are here We are ready to teach meditation free of cost. We don't even charge anything, not a single dollar is necessary. You just learn. As a friend, I don't even want to claim I am the Guru. That is what my master taught. Our Guru's lineage is like that. Mitra Bhava, as a friend, give this technique. Still, how many want to learn? Swamiji was there after his tapas for 34 years. He was there with the physical body. Of course, it's a different thing. He is there always. We cannot tell that he is no more there. But while he was in the body, it was a different thing. It was like a bonus. So many came, millions came, but hardly very few meditated really. That's what we saw. They all used to be standing around him when he sat on the dais and gossiping all sorts of politics, this, that, so many things. Nobody hardly. So once somebody asked a question and Swamiji answered spiritually. Then another devotee was standing there. He asked Swamiji, you never told me this. Then Swamiji told, you never asked me this about this. You were asking me all the time something else and I was talking something else. He asked this question, so I guided him with this. If you want, I can guide you also. If you want to meditate, I can guide you in meditation. So that is the world. However, we don't lose hope. As long as like we are alive, we will try to create an awareness. Whoever comes in front of me. Today, communication and presentation, its technologies are available. That's when we try to talk, we allow all of you, you can record, you can pass it on to the next generation, all these things you can do, what we speak about the truth, any mantra or about meditation. So this is what we are trying. So let us pray to God, let us hope.
One last question, Baba, is okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
So when we say put in efforts and accept results, those two in some way can seem a little contradictory because we're putting in efforts. Why? Because we're not accepting the results that happened before. So we're putting in efforts to achieve something. So it seems to be a real delicate balance about to what extent we put in efforts in life and to what extent we start moving towards acceptance. And so if you could talk about that a little bit. I mean, putting in efforts means we want a result, otherwise there would be no purpose for making the effort. And yet we are supposed to accept.
Important, when we put an effort, we must not think that whether the result is going to come, only then I will put an effort. We must realize, though putting an effort might be very difficult and then finally to achieve the result that we want is also very difficult, but we must not consider that as impossible. See, if it's impossible, then there is no point to put an effort. Here, things are simply difficult, that is all. Not that it is impossible. So that is why we need to put an effort. Now, for meditation, achieving self-realization, it's not easy, it is very difficult. Because it is very difficult, you are not going to give up putting an effort. That is the human attitude which is appreciable always. Look at humanity. So many things are so difficult, but humans don't give up. They go on, they try to do research, they try to improve. An aircraft gets into an accident, but they try to improve further. They try to improve further, they do research. Anything in the world, they try to improve always. So this is what is appreciable about humanity. So we have to keep this in mind when we put an effort. After putting an effort, when the result comes, if it is not according to our expectations, we must not lose heart. We must not lose hope. We must not decide, now I am not going to put an effort at all, let it go. That is foolishness. We must try again, we will try again, we don't give up. That is what always our great sages and everybody taught us. So our gurus taught us while putting an effort. So thus it is not contradictory actually if we see. Putting an effort and then accept the result. If you accept the result, you will have mental stability and the motivation to try again. Don't give up. Only you give up if it is impossible. So a thing that is impossible is different. A thing that is very difficult is different. That's what since beginning I am trying to teach. Though it is very difficult, it is not impossible. You have to try. So if we keep this attitude, so somewhere something we can achieve. We were taught till the last breath of life, it is worthwhile to put an effort, because it will continue in the next life also. It will not go away. It will be like a fixed deposit from early childhood. Like in early childhood itself, we got that motivation, that inclination. We started thinking about peace, happiness. We started thinking about death, about the soul. So, and we got attracted to self-realized souls very importantly. So thus, that means in our previous lives, we must have been putting efforts. Only then that inclination came from childhood itself. So that's what we advocate, we advise, never give up putting efforts and accept when the results come so that you can have peace and hope.
It seems like putting in efforts and acceptance are very connected to each other, almost like two sides of the same coin.
Definitely.
Because putting in efforts alone can lead to anxiety, and acceptance alone can lead to laziness. So they both, it seems they both need to be there, and they both contribute to the truth.
As a acceptance is to keep your mental stability and peace, and then put an effort, try again. When you are trying, you put an effort with focused, concentrated mind so that you can achieve. When you are putting effort, oh, this time I must achieve. How will it not come? Let me see that one. So that type of attitude is necessary so that you remain serious, you remain focused, and you keep on doing that one, and then you are there.
Thank you.
Hello, Babaji. Thank you for being with us. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see so many beautiful musical instruments.
Oh, yes.
So wonderful to see.
Thank you. My question is about compassion. I'm finding it hard to find more compassion. And that makes me feel like maybe I'm looking in the wrong place, or do I have to look for it? Do I have to find it? So I'm wondering if you could talk about, maybe I just don't understand compassion. So I'm wondering if you could talk about it briefly, and where should compassion come from?
Generally, when we look at things or others, we separate ourselves from them. Then we are unable to be compassionate. If we simply learn to place ourselves in their place, then we will become compassionate. Like if a child does some mistake, so then if we try to put ourselves as a child in their place, we will instantly forgive. If we were children, we would have behaved like this. When we were kids, we were behaving like this with our parents. We need to forgive them. We need to be compassionate. But let us try to teach them so that they become more responsible. Like when I was a student, I would have misbehaved, wrongly behaved, troubled my guru so many times. So if any of my students trouble me, misbehave with me, when I remember that, instantly I became compassionate. I start loving them. I laugh at them. I make them laugh also. So that's how you can adopt in your life and achieve to remain compassionate. May you be blessed.
Thank you.
Spending time in activity, feeling the silence as a companion, is that valuable? Or
Yes, it is. If you are able to feel the silence, it is always valuable. That is what you try even when you are alone. That's what you try when you try to meditate. So in the company of somebody also, if you are able to find that silence, when there is silence, you will find the peace also automatically that follows. So that is valuable.
I have a question, Baba. When you talk about meditation and prayer, what do you mean about prayer? What kind of prayer? Is it mantra? Is it just talking freely to the divine? My question is, what do you mean by prayer?
Yeah. Sometimes, often perhaps, people would like to pray to fulfill their desires. So this is also a prayer. But highest prayers that we were taught, do not try to define what is your happiness, in which way that you think that it is going to come, the happiness is going to come. God knows what is your happiness, in which way it is going to come. If you leave it to God, God will give it in the right sense, a permanent, a highest happiness. So thus, you pray to God, please inspire my wisdom. May it happen as you wish, my Lord, but always inspire my wisdom to accept what you want it to happen. Then the real peace, real happiness will definitely come. The pure grace will descend. So that is the highest form of prayer when you don't have any desire at all. So like our Guru starts, Swamiji used to say, even if God appears in front of you and offers everything that he can give, say no and say only you want God. Because happiness is only in God. Permanent entity is only God. Anything that God can offer is impermanent. It cannot give you a permanent happiness. So tell that you don't want to compromise, you want only God. That is the highest prayer. Swamiji used to explain this to us. I have heard this so many times from him. So this is what is prayer. But a common man generally thinks when there is a desire, it must be fulfilled. So for that only he wants to pray. But we pray so that let there not be any desire at all. Let there be contentment. God, I want you only. May be blessed.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.